In Idaho's fabled Silver Valley, big mining companies have been perfecting the art of underground mining for more than 100 years. Starting in the 1890s, miners have extracted more than 1 billion ounces of silver, making this one of the top 2 or 3 silver-producing regions in the world. But that silver extraction did not come without a price. In the early 1980s, the price of silver dropped below the break-even point for most of the region's mines. And the towns of Kellogg and Wallace were left with a century of heavy metal pollution on their doorsteps, marking it as one of the largest Superfund sites in the nation. But that's all old news to these young miners. They're just happy to be making a living, a very good living, 3,000 feet underground in the Galena mine.
The money is very substantial. With the prices we have now, pretty much the only blue-collar work I know of where you can make as much as you are willing to make. What you make is in your own hands. It's a wonderful job. I feel at home when I come to work in a mine.
The first time I came underground, I was shaking. It was so quiet, it was scary. The smells and the feel of the air is heavy and moist, and you go from being cold to all of a sudden you feel like you can't get your air. And it's fascinating. It's a whole different world down here.
Miners have primarily chased the silver-copper veins and the silver-lead veins. But in the 1950s, the Galena mine discovered a rich silver vein, which the company pursued.
We're still mining the silver vein, but most of it has been mined already. And so now we have to be more creative and look for things that, that maybe were passed up or overlooked years ago.
The high price for silver these days means that the Canadian-based company, U.S. Silver, can return to those less lucrative veins abandoned years before.
This is a vein that was first developed in the early 50s. Then the operators dropped it and started mining the silver vein. And so here about a year ago, we came back and repaired this area, and we're back now ready to put it into production. And it's been sitting here for over 50 years.
This detective work for once abandoned veins is being perfected by Hecla Mining Company, whose holdings include some of the Silver Valley's most productive mines. By scanning 100 years of historic mining maps, Hecla has created 3D animations that are proving useful for exploration.
The eureka moment is that you can see one fault comes in this way, another fault comes in this way, and lo and behold, there's a mineral deposit or an ore body that's formed at the intersection of those faults.
Today, tourists visiting the Silver Valley might be surprised at all this talk about mining. Condominiums and a gondola connecting the town to nearby Silver Mountain draw the eye upwards, not down. And where once stood smokestacks and a smelter and scarred earth, new subdivisions are springing up. It's easy to think that mining is a thing of the past, and maybe should remain a thing of the past. But the Galena mine alone is providing more than 200 families a reason to work and live in the Silver Valley.
It's the kind of industry we need. We're never going to get a Boeing, we're never going to get the big stores, but we need the type of jobs that pay well and have good benefits, and they can take care of their families.
Superfund was yesterday's story. We were cleaning up the sins of the fathers, so to speak. The companies that are here now do not have those kinds of practices. They can't do them by the environmental law that we've got, and they don't want to do them. I mean, their intent is to be good neighbors.
Nice high-grade ore coming in.